Original poster, thanks to all of you. He doesn't think he would have been strong enough to make it this far without your support. He hopes you all have a happy Thanksgiving. Well, first holiday with a broken effing family. Daughter went to her boyfriend's house. He went to his son's house a few hours away. And wayward wife went to friend's house. Super effing angry right now. And wayward wife is in a mood, so he's avoiding her. This SHT sucks. Well, she is 100% remorseful, taking full responsibility for her actions, and said she is prepared for any consequences of her action, including divorce if he wants to. She will do anything to reconcile, including a poly and reconciliation agreement. So, her is her truth. The other man reached out to her first in February. He is an ex who is the only boyfriend who has ever dumped his wife. They started texting, it got out of hand, and before you know it, it was an everyday thing. In October, when his wayward wife went to his town, Wayward and the other man had planned to meet in a public place for a drink and to catch up. Now she freely admits that she was interested to know if there was still a spark there, and she admits that she didn't know what would have happened if there was, but she said she feels she would never have crossed that line. Anyway, the other man bailed on her, said he didn't want to cross that line, so he ghosted her. For those keeping track, that's 2 times he has jilted her. So, she was disappointed, and they argued a little via text. But it soon went back to the way it was. Now the other man did tell her if it ever got out that they were texting, the other man was done. That would have been a red flag for him, but wayward wife didn't think about it. So, when the other man found out, she told original poster he said he's done and blocked her everywhere. So, now that's 3 times the other man jilted his wayward wife. So that's the story. Original poster is now certain they didn't meet, but not certain she wouldn't have crossed the line if they did. She has been open, honest, and tells him all the time how stupid she was, how sorry she is for everything she did, how she loves him, etc. So, original poster is closer to reconciliation, but he's still adamant about a reconciliation agreement that protects him from paying alimony. She is on board to sign it and take a poly, so that's where he's at right now. Comment, not sure why you are fighting the logic of getting the poly done. Original poster, not sure where you got that from, but he's scheduling a poly right now. She is happy to take it as she states that she has told him everything. So, what cues should he have asked of her? So, he texted the other man's wife tonight. She didn't know. She does now. His wayward wife is pissed he did that. He also asked his wayward wife if he could see her phone. She gave it to him and gave him her code, and the first app he sees is WhatsApp. She also wouldn't let him see her phone unless she was there with him. So, he immediately asked her to move out, that he was done. He spoke to the other man's wife for hours tonight. She had no idea. She said she called other man after she got original poster's first text, and the other man was literally in tears. The other man was remorseful right off the bat. The other man also said he has been worried sick waiting for original poster to call the other man's wife. So, in a way, the other man is glad original poster waited 3 weeks knowing it was eating him alive. Their stories are consistent, and original poster truly believes that they never met in person. But as the truth is coming out, he unfortunately is learning that his wayward wife was the aggressor. So tonight, original poster told wayward wife how much of a horrible, disgusting person she is. He told her he wants her out of this house, and he never want to see her again. He said all the things he has bottled up for 3 weeks, probably too much. He told her this is no longer her family, and she is no longer welcome in this house. Now that he got it all out, moving to no contact. New level of remorse from wayward wife today. Talked again for hours. He thinks it is finally settling and that this is about as serious as it gets. Got a lot of promises and a list what she is willing to do to stay in the marriage and regain his trust. Includes full access to everything electronic, a post-nup or reconciliation agreement, and a poly. Still not convinced, though. He needs to stay in touch with the other man's wife and see if there are any gaps in the story. He told wayward wife that if there is anything she is not truthful about, or anything she omitted, there is nothing to work with and divorce is the only option. She swears he know everything. Comment, seesawing back and forth chips away at your credibility. Original poster, he didn't seesaw. She was actually packing to leave, hoping he would say something to stop her. He didn't, and she finally said that he can't kick her out and she was staying until the attorneys can get the separation agreement completed. He never asked her to stay. Comment, what about these latest issues, which are not indicative of remorse? 1. Anger about you calling OBW. 2. WhatsApp still on phone and most significant app on the screen. 3. Hopping in attitude on Thanksgiving. Original poster. 1. She stated that she did not want the other man's wife to feel the same pain that he's feeling. She said she knows how much pain and hurt she has caused. She is ashamed and didn't want to do that to her. She said she doesn't give a crap about the other man. He learned nothing new from the other man's wife when they spoke for 2 hours. 2. One of her students was traveling overseas and told her about WhatsApp, that they could use it to communicate. She said she installed it and has never used the app. It's only been installed since September, and the wayward wife and the other man never stopped texting, so not concerned with it. She said her attitude on Saturday was because he had too much whiskey, was being an arse, and it was 2 a.m. All true, but he still did not expect the attitude. Hi all. First let him say that he's amazed at the number and depth of responses. Thank you all so much for your support. He feels that he has been posting in snippets and he want to take the opportunity to let you all know where he's right now, which is still at an impasse. A lot of you have posted about remorse, apologies, polygraphs, etc. I want to address some of those before he does. The basic story that she is adamant about is that she got into an inappropriate texting relationship with an old boyfriend, and she got lost in the excitement. She has freely admitted it went too far, that she was able to compartmentalize that relationship with the rest of her life. She never thought about what would happen if, when she got caught and thought it would run its course. She did admit to wanting to have a drink with him in a public place while she was in his town in October. She swears that is all it would be, and she had no intentions of crossing a line to making it physical. She also admitted that the other man was the one that said he didn't want to meet because he didn't want to even have the opportunity to cross the line, and she was not happy about it. That is jilt number 3 on his wayward wife. So, with all that said, here's where he's with some of the topics you all have brought up. Apology. She has apologized profusely. She has told him how wrong she was, that she never should have let it go so far, that she loves him, has always loved him, and never thought about leaving the marriage for any reason. She has taken 100% of the blame. She has said their marriage was never as bad as she made it out in her head to justify her actions. She has offered to call each of his family members and his friends to offer them her apology as well. She has also apologized to their children many times and taken full responsibility. Remorse, not really sure about this one. She talks a lot about how she is crushed due to the pain she has caused him. She has said she would accept any consequences for her actions, including moving out and proceeding with separation. She also talks a lot about how she is a horrible person and she doesn't know what is wrong with her, but is going to counseling to find out. Many times, she has stated that she doesn't deserve him, or she doesn't deserve him being so nice to her and hearing out. Polygraph, stuck on this one as well. She is 100% on board to get a poly. The only thing she said to balk was that it is expensive and maybe they should look for a cheaper polygraph and call around. She was ready to make an app for Thursday afternoon. Here is where he's stuck. After the consultation with the polygraph examiner, he has a better understanding of how they work. They are nothing like what you see on TV. They stick to one topic only and cannot determine which questions she is lying about. It is a pass or fail test only, so the examiner could ask all day long if she had sexual relations with the other man. But that is all he will know, yes or no. It won't tell him what she intended to do. He has her truth, which is a drink in a public place with an old boyfriend, and she never would have crossed that line. And he has the opposite that is only in his head, which is she planned the whole thing, shopped for lingerie, cleaned her hotel room, bought wine and a cheese tray, and was ready to romance the EFF out of this guy. Unfortunately, the poly won't provide the truth. It will only tell him if they had sex, and he's pretty sure they did not, for whatever reason. So, spending the money to tell him what he already knows seems stupid right now. So, he's freaking stuck. Yes, he loves her. No, he doesn't trust her. He doesn't think she is a master manipulator, at least most days. If her truth is the truth, he can get past this. She has told him she would do anything to save the marriage. Full tracking, free access to all electronics, continue to be open and honest about the affair, apologize to his family and friends, sign a post-nup or reconciliation agreement to waive all rights to alimony if they divorce for any reason. Go to IC, take a poly. Tell him where she is, who she is with all the time. She said she will do this for however long it takes to fix this. So as of today, he told her the truth probably lies somewhere between her truth and his worst nightmare. And he put the owner on her to convince him what it is. She is adamant she has told him everything. There is nothing else to tell. She didn't want anything more than a drink in a public place, that she would never have crossed that line. Another thing, when they had to consult with the polygraph guy, they were not focused on just this situation. It was about having any sexual relations outside the marriage, and she didn't balk once. She was the one to actually work with the guy to find an appropriate time to meet for the poly. He gave a time, and she asked if he could push it out because she had to work, and he said yes. There would not have been a parking lot confession. She would never have let him go through with scheduling an over $1,000 polygraph if she was lying. So, that's him right now, still jacked. Tomorrow is 1 month since D-Day, and he don't feel like he has a clue of what to do. Comment. Have you asked what the lingerie, wine, cheese and clean hotel room was intended for then? Original poster. Holy SHT. My fault. This is what he thinks when he thinks about. It didn't happen. Comment. Also, why the extended stay? Why book a hotel for multiple nights to accommodate an intended daytime drink? Original poster. They had a wedding to go to at this same town. They were all going to go early and chill on the beach, but none of them could except for her. She went 3 days early to relax and said she would have done it whether the other man lived there or not. The rest of the family met her at the same beach 3 days later, and they stayed together through the weekend. Google location tracking is off by default. She let him look and it was never turned on. She has already given him a play-by-play of her time at the beach. He has looked at all her texts and receipts that she provided from stores, etc., and they match up. At this point he believes they never met up. Lots of reasons why he thinks this, but what he's stuck on is what she intended to do. He has no idea how to validate intent. Even a poly can't do that. Holy SHT. He literally laughed out loud at your post calling him dickhead. Thank you for that. Comment. Why not attempt to recover the deleted messages from her phone using a program or with help from a professional? Original poster. He kind of disagree here. Him and wayward wife have talked more these last few weeks than the last 2 years of marriage combined. She is not a very complicated person, and after 28 years, he knows what her limits are when it comes to emotions. She has told him about the texts. They were 95% stupid crap. Every day back and forth SHT. The other 5% were them reminiscing. Sometimes that really crossed the line, but he believes her. Him seeing the content of all that banter will serve no purpose but to confuse him even more and make him focus on the small SHT and not the big picture. He honestly doesn't want to read 10 months of text. She has said he know everything. He asked her to tell him the story about them, from when he reached out to D-Day. She spent 2 hours telling the story last night, sharing a lot of why and also a lot of her feelings. It's honestly a good practice and he recommended for others who find themselves in this situation. He just asked her to tell him the story, not like a textbook or reciting from a script, but a story. It was helpful for both of them, as in I learned a lot about what was going through her head the whole time, what she was and wasn't thinking, what she was feeling. He literally did not say a word for 2 hours. He did have a few questions when she finished, but he did not interrupt her at all. He thinks doing this more than once would be good too. Not only will you be able to see if the story is the same, but you can also gauge if the wife is really ready to talk, because telling the story is exhausting. If they agree to tell the story over and over, he thinks that is a good thing. One thing that his wayward wife brought up was that the more she talked, the more details came back to her. So just know that there may be some additional facts that come out as story goes on. Another thing she said was that it was really hard to remember everything because of the guilt and shame she felt literally the whole time. So sometimes the story was a little different. But if it isn't anything critical, he didn't dwell on it. He believes she never met him at the beach. He believes that she never sent him any sexual pictures. What he wants to believe is that she never intended to have sex with him at the beach. So, she is 100% on board for a poly to prove that they only intended to have a drink and she would never cross the physical line. He's not saying he's going to reconcile, even if her truth is the truth. Sharing herself every effing day with an ex is an issue. He still needs to work through some SHT, but his biggest blocker right now is her intent while at the beach. Look, none of them are angels. He has a dear friend who is a cheater. He has told him how easy it is to get carried away with texting. Just stupid SHT, but it's exciting and new and a drug. He said it took him a few months to get over the loss of addiction. Not making excuses by any means. They should never put themselves in the position to even start a texting relationship. He knows for a fact that wayward wife is not in contact with the other man since November 4th, 2 days after D-Day, and it was a Facebook message from him to her saying he was done because I texted his wife. For those following along, I texted his ex-wife. He is remarried and his real wife didn't know until he texted her last week. They ended up talking for a few hours. The other man's wife told him she called him as soon as he texted her, and he caved immediately, cried like a baby and begged forgiveness. He said he has been sick to his stomach just waiting for him to reach out to his wife. He should have made him wait longer. So bottom line, he believes the relationship was way over the line. He believes they never met up. He believes there were no sexual pictures. He believes it was easy for them to do what they did because the other man doesn't really work and is available all the time. He believes his wayward wife is starting to feel the shame, embarrassment, guilt of what she has done. He believes she will do anything to salvage this relationship. The question is whether he can forgive her. Right now, he can't. Comment. A high volume of phone calls, merely flirtatious messages, and allegedly innocuous memes do not fit the legal definition of adultery anywhere. If your lawyer told you otherwise, then you should fire him or her. Original poster. This is 100% incorrect. In his state, marital misconduct is a bar to alimony. To prove marital misconduct, you need to show intent and opportunity. Not just his current attorney, but the other two he interviews, and his wayward wife attorney all agrees that 30K plus text. 15 pictures define intent. Going to the beach by herself, which happens to be where the other man lives, is opportunity. This keeps coming up and he's telling y'all he has enough. Wayward wife knows it too, which is why she is willing to sign a reconciliation agreement to forfeit alimony if they reconcile and divorce later. FFS, he has the best attorney anywhere near him. He took the advice of this forum and consulted 3 attorneys before he chose one. Comment. Rover, as my favorite band would say ... What a long, strange trip it's been. I hope you are heading for a long stretch of peace in whatever you decide. Original poster. He's still walking, so he's sure that he can dance. Comment. Just exactly what you gonna do now. Original poster. That he can't answer. He just doesn't have the answer right now. Over a month since D-Day and it's still too emotional. He's still on this roller coaster, and so is wayward wife. Lots of thoughts in his head. He believes he have all he's going to get as far as the truth. He knows someone will say make her do a poly, send her phone out to get all her texts back, keep talking to the other man wife to verify locations. Stories. He honestly doesn't have the energy for all that, and frankly he just doesn't effing care anymore. Yay, he wants the truth, and she swears he have it. She will sign a postnup or a reconciliation agreement. She either gives up alimony or her half of marital assets. That's huge. So, do he accept her truth and give her the opportunity to build back trust, fix herself, and prove she is sincere? Or does he just say F it and throw away 25 years? He doesn't think he can make that decision right now. Comment. You're missing the point. You shouldn't have to just accept her truth. Original poster. Not missing the point at all. He really doesn't have the energy for this SHT. Either they just separate, or he protect the EFF out of himself and reconcile. That's all he got the energy for. He doesn't know which to choose, but he knows he's not going to spend hours and hours trying to get to the truth if honestly. He just doesn't care that much about the relationship. Kinda says a lot right there, doesn't it? Comment. Think she is pretty much counting on you being too tired to get the truth and make any moves. Original poster. Let him be 100% clear on this, as it's been discussed many times. No matter what he decides to do, he will not have to pay alimony. Let him explain. In his state, marital misconduct is a bar to alimony. To prove marital misconduct, he needs to show inclination and opportunity. He has both hands down inclination 32,000 text. An opportunity staying by herself at the beach where he lives. He knows this and she knows this. Her attorney even knows this and told her. So, to protect that if he reconcile, he will get a postnup which will allow her to waive her share of the marital assets, or a reconciliation agreement which will allow her to waive alimony for any reason if they divorce in the future. Either way, the dollar value is about equal. So no, she isn't trying to wear him down. She knows she is going to lose something no matter what. She has accepted this, and it is a non-issue. Obviously, he's having a bad day. This roller coaster sucks. He believes that what he knows now is all he's going to know. She will never change her story. The other man will never change his story. He's tired and angry and want to do anything but think about this. As he stated before, he has her truth only, which admits an inappropriate relationship with an ex, no meetup, no SX, no inappropriate pictures, etc. Then he has what is floating around in his head, which is the opposite of her truth. So, he's sure the real truth is somewhere in between. That's what he needs to either accept or not. Right now, he's just effing tired. On another note, he owes some of his strength to this forum. He never would have it this far without it. Good or bad, he read every response and try to fit it in his situation and what he knows of his wayward wife.